Seems like Manchester United are giving the David De Gea contract situation one last go. Reports are that he's turned down £350,000 a week, so any improvement is going to put him close to being their highest paid player. Worth doing?
Well, I think Manchester United have boxed themselves into a little bit of a corner here with Alexis Sanchez and the contract that he's on. Now, if I'm David De Gea or his representatives, I'm looking at what Alexis Sanchez is on. I'm looking at the seasons I've had over the last 5 or 6. He's won Player of the Season 4 to the last 6. And I'm thinking, I'm more deserving of that contract than Alexis Sanchez is. So that's my starting position. Now, at the same time, if you're Manchester United, just from purely a business perspective, you can't afford too many players on your books at that money. So, which is why I started by saying they've kind of made their own problems. And the quicker they can somehow get Alexis Sanchez off the books, I think the quicker contract negotiations at Old Trafford return to some sense of normalcy, if normalcy is anything you can, any way you can describe the transfer market today.
Yeah, they have to work within those parameters that are facing them at the moment. Would it be an easier decision for Manchester United to offer that kind of money if he was in better form? If we take a look at his statistics over the last few years, you mentioned the Player of the Year award that he's won 4 of the last 6 seasons, but look at how many goals were conceded by the club overall last year compared to the 2 previous. I know it doesn't come down just to the goalkeeper, but of course there were those high-profile errors. Yeah,
there were. And listen, Ross, you know I'm always going to side with the goalkeeper, especially when the goalkeeper's as talented as David De Gea. I don't think those numbers fairly reflect his form. We've been saying for quite some time that it's always a dangerous approach when you have to rely on your goalkeeper as heavily as Manchester United have had to do over the last couple of seasons. Now, we've been speaking about David De Gea for quite some time. I felt that he looked emotionally checked out of Old Trafford over the last 6 months at the very least. And I think that was a major contributor to those high-profile errors that you speak of, Ross. But now maybe if he feels that he's going to be paid his worth and he knows that his long-term future remains at Old Trafford, you will see him going back to the form that you saw over previous seasons. For me, that's not really the question. The balancing act here for Manchester United and their board is convincing David De Gea to stay, putting him on a wage that he feels he is worthy of, given who else you have in that dressing room, given some of the other interested clubs in David De Gea. You have to convince him that you'll be back competing, not just qualifying in the top 4, but more to the point, challenging at the top of the Premier League and making noise in the Champions League. As we sit right now, I don't see that happening.
We've spoken about this before in terms of the other options available to Manchester United if this does not go well. None of them are cheap.
Nope.
And it becomes more difficult. The number of those players moving clubs or being rumoured to move clubs this transfer window as well. How important is it for them to get this sorted very early on? Because, of course, it does have a knock-on effect on how much money they would have available to spend elsewhere on the squad.
Yeah, it does. If Manchester United see themselves back amongst the top 2, let's say, in the very near future, I think they have to spend big. And the only real option is Jan Oblak, in my mind, if you don't secure David De Gea. Now, whether Jan Oblak is willing to leave Atletico Madrid or not, that's another topic for an entirely different topic for an entirely different day. But I think that's where you set your sights firmly on. Medium term, Gigi Donnarumma, a bit longer term, maybe Onana. But outside of that, I'm not sure who the next likely candidate is. It's about Manchester United and where they feel their ambitions are and how quickly they can get back to competing at the very top of the Premier League and in Europe.
Okay, so Manchester United have a number of priorities, but they need to get this sorted out once and for all. As we understand it, very close to making what would be David De Gea close to the highest paid player at the squad at Old Trafford.